Alrighty, so here is our Passion Time project. My name is Russell, and we're going to be looking around our Passion Time project. Um, the question for my Passion Time project was, how have mobile phones changed over time? And this video will show you kind of what they've done and how they've changed. So, let's quickly go down to old phones. Old phones we think of as ancient phones. We think of them as ancient phones because they are nowhere near our modern phones, what they look like today. Our phones are kind of like old phones are kind of like bricks compared to the phones we have today. We think of the phones not very heavy and super thin pieces of aluminum or plastic. If you were to use an old mobile phone today, it would be like really weird because you are used to the thin, light, and super fast. I actually had some hands-on time with some old phones from about 2000, so they're not too old, but there is a big difference from what they are today. So to use an old phone is like using a calculator, but super thick and not so easy to hold. Using an old phone is very weird because, you know what, it doesn't have a touchscreen, it's slow, the battery doesn't last as long. So I think it's weird because it's not easy to use and they have a pretty short battery life. I only got about 30 minutes before the battery died. It doesn't have much memory, so it can't open many apps at once. And speaking of apps, there are none, mostly because it doesn't connect to the internet, so you really can't do anything except use the apps that are pre-installed. The design of old phones is pretty basic. They're mostly made out of plastic, really aluminum, and they have volume buttons and a pretty bad camera. Really bad camera, and most of the stuff is interchangeable, like the battery and my opinion, it is pretty straightforward, nothing like the designs on mobile phones today. So modern phones. Here, as you can see here, we got the iPhone 6s. Awesome phone. In my opinion, we have a lot of different combinations. Like we have the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge. We have a bunch of other ones just like that. But this is one of my favorite phones. So let's quickly read about it. And most modern phones are thin and light. Modern phone has to be fast enough for modern texts, and it has to have a good camera, has to have a nice bright screen, and has to be light, and it has to be pretty easy to hold. Because these phones, you drop them, they're gone. Old phones, you drop them, they'll survive a little long. Specifications for the new phones are really fast. They are fast because the processors and the RAM are fast. Most new companies make their processors because they want to make sure they're built well and work with the phone. Cameras on modern phones are super crispy and awesome to use. Expectations on cameras for new phones are pretty high. You have to record at least 1080p video and take pictures at 8 megapixels. So we have some pretty high demand for phones these days. So concept phones are really important too. The concepts are like the thing that comes out before the real thing, and the concepts are usually not true because sometimes it's hard or too expensive for the company. And we've got some video here. The video that I'm making right now will go here, and then some old phones of me talking about them. So that is how have mobile phones changed over time. So in my opinion, mobile phones have changed a lot in the past 10 years. It's already 2016, so they've changed so much. We've come to touchscreens, we've come to super fast and really good processors. So, yeah, that is how have mobile phones changed over time.